Hey horror fans, once again it is me, the Horror Mizamani G. It's time to do another horror movie review. This time we're going to review the latest horror movie from great horror director James Wan. This is Malignant. Now Malignant is a 2021 American slasher horror film. It was directed by James Wan and written by Akila Cooper. Now the film stars Annabella Wallace, Maddie Hansen, George Young, McCole, Brianna White, and Marina Marpeza. I think is how you pronounce her name. Now, in this film, Madison is paralyzed by shocking visions of grisly murders, and her torment worsens as she discovers that these walking dreams are, in fact, terrifying realities. Uh-oh. Here we go. Now, Australian film director James Wan has come a long way since he and fellow Australian filmmaker Leigh Whannell brought us Saw back in 2004. After the success of the Saw films, he went on to bring us Insidious and The Conjuring, where the latter of that series has become the second highest grossing horror franchise with over 2 billion worldwide. Now, outside of the horror genre, Wan has directed Fast and Furious 7 and Aquaman, where both films have grossed over 1 billion worldwide. Yes, James Wan is a very great director, not only in the horror genre, but also in action films as well. As a matter of fact, he's going to be directing the next Aquaman film that's coming up, I believe in 2022. I believe it's actually filming right now, if I'm not mistaken. Now, James Wan returns back to the horror genre, his first directing since The Conjuring 2 with his latest horror film, Malignant. Now, after an intense scene that takes place in a psychiatric hospital, we're introduced to Madison Mitchell, who, despite being pregnant, is being abused by her husband, Derek. Yeah, he's a dick. Now, Madison starts to have weird visions where an unseen man kills Derek and attacks her, and of course, unfortunately, she loses her child. Now, I'm not spoiling anything. We see this in the trailer. She starts to see more of these visions and realizes that the murder the man is committing is real. Uh-oh, so is Madison really seeing the murders, or is she really the killer? That's basically what the film plays off of it. Is this something from her figment of her imagination as she continues to blame these murders on some childhood imaginary friend called Gabriel, or is she really committing the murders herself? Now, first off, I simply love the visuals Wan uses in this film. During certain scenes, it's like we're entering a dreamscape where you're in the real world and nothing's happening, and then all of a sudden, everything all melts away, and next thing you know, you find yourself living in a nightmare. You can't escape from it. That's what Madison feels every time when something happens. She's doing something, like there's a scene where she's just doing laundry, and all of a sudden she can't move, and everything just sort of melts in, and then we get the scene where she's actually seeing a murder take place. It's a very interesting concept that we've seen in other horror films before, but the way Wan fills it is very great. It's like if this were Freddy Krueger, and all of a sudden you think you're doing something, but you're not, and all of a sudden the whole scene melts away, and then next thing you know, you're actually in a nightmare. I thought that was a interesting visual style. I love how Wan pulls this off. That's because Wan is so excellent in creating the right type of atmosphere as we become invested to what's happening to Madison and the mystery that's surrounding her. I like that aspect of the film because it does take some time before things get going in this particular film, and it might cause some people to be put off of it, but I think it's because of the visuals that Wan uses, and then the atmosphere he creates, and the tension and suspension to what's happening, where we become invested in what's happening to Madison. We really want to know what's happening to her. Is it really that she's being attacked by Gabriel, or is this just a figment of her imagination? Now, you really have to give credit to Annabelle Wallace. You remember her from Annabelle? No, her name's Annabelle in the film Annabelle. And here, she's great at playing Madison. She gives Madison the right amount of frustration, fear, and sadness for a woman in her situation. I mean, she's caught in a bad marriage. We find out other things are happening to her, and she's scared, she's frightened, she really doesn't know what's going on. She really wants to know what's happening to her. She's getting tired of the situation, and Annabelle Wallace really gives a great performance here, and she's the reason why we are very invested in this film is because of her performance. Now, she also has great chemistry with Maddie Hansen, who plays her sister, Sydney. You could tell they love each other even when secrets involving Madison's past are revealed. Sydney cares for Madison. She wants to know what's happening to her. She's cared for her when she finds out what Derek is doing to her, and she also is looking out for her, and she wants to make sure that Madison's well. I like the chemistry that they have together. Speaking of Madison's past, it's the third act is when the film takes the audience for a wild ride as we learn about Madison and the truth about Gabrielle. And I do mean a wild ride. We get some really holy shit moments in this particular movie. I mean, it's an insane scene involving body horror and medical science. We've seen this in other horror films, but Wan takes it to another level that really drives the film home. That scene is intercut with what's happening to Madison in real time, and it's so intense and wild, it really drives the events of what's taking place in the other parts of the film. I mean, I like it when you have the mystery aspect. Reminds me of M. Night Shyamalan's movie The Visit, where we see elements of the film and we're interested what's happening, but when we find out the truth what's happening, then all the other scenes in the film kind of make sense. That's what I like about this film, and that's like when the payoff is excellent, because we've seen in other horror movies before, and we're waiting, okay, that's good, I can't wait for the truth, and then when the truth happens, we're kind of like, wow, kind of bums me out. Now, where in other horror films the payoff is not that good, this one the payoff is excellent. And I do mean excellent. I mean, we even get a decent action scene that will give everyone Aquaman vibes. It's bloody, it's gory, and this is what we expect from Wan. We do get some excellent practical effects and some gore. There's some little mixture of CGI in there, but the whole scene works mainly because of Wan's direction, style, and vision. Now, this isn't something new. It's not something new. It's going to, make any type of changes in the horror genre. And it's obviously that writer Akira Cooper was influenced by a certain 80s horror film whose name I'm not going to mention, but I'm sure people might guess what film I'm talking about based upon the events and the truth revolving Gabriel and Madison. But it's really great. Now, if this film was directed by someone else, this would be your standard slasher film, wow, okay, cliche characters and stuff like that, but thanks to Wan's unique vision, unique direction and vision, he's taken a simple horror story and created another brilliant horror film. Now, we've seen him do this before with Insidious and The Conjuring, and I guess you can actually say Saw too. Because in both those films, you take a simple either a haunted house story, or you take a simple haunted house setting in The Conjuring and the events that happen in Insidious, but because of his direction, visual cues of how he films these films, that's the reason why he's such a great horror film with these films, whether it's the Insidious 1 or Part 2 or the Conjuring films that he's done. I would say the first two, not the third one. And any other films he's been involved with, you can see his influence in the horror genre, and I believe that's the reason why this film works, mainly because of his influence, his vision, and his direction. Now, don't get me wrong, this film isn't without its flaws, as there are certain plot elements that aren't explained, and the side characters like the cops that are investigating the murders are simply cliche characters that we've seen before in horror movies. They really don't add anything more to the film, but it's mainly Wan's vision, Annabelle Wallis's performance, and the gore scenes in that third act is what really drives this film home. As I stated before, this is an excellent and effective horror movie with some great visuals, great acting from Annabelle Wallis, and of course some great bloody kills and gore. I really love this film. It is definitely going to be in my top 10 horror films of 2021. So, I'm going to give Malignant 4 out of my 5 bloody gold coins. Giving it 4 out of my 5 bloody gold coins. I don't know if everyone's going to love it as much as I did, but I truly enjoyed this film. Yes, right, James Wan is back once again because this man knows how to direct a horror film. Please check out Malignant. You're going to enjoy it. So there you have it. That is my video and review of Malignant. Hope you did enjoy it, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up because it does help out the YouTube algorithm. Also, have you seen Malignant? Please leave your comments in the comment section and tell me what you thought about the movie. Did you enjoy it as much as I did? Also, if you're new here, please hit that subscriber button and ring that notification bell. That way you're notified anytime when I put a new video such as this one. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Monty G, and always remember that horror rules. I'll see you in my next video. I'm out.